Do I need more than one anti-malware tool? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Let's dive right into the question. With regards to firewalls, antivirus programs, and anti-spyware programs, can I have more than one of each of these programs installed on my computer? For example, I run Zone Alarm. Does that mean I should turn off Windows Firewall? Honestly, that's a very old question. And I'm running it today because the answer has changed. The answer is very different than what it once was. Today, the answer is very simple. If you're running Windows 10 or Windows 11, no, you really don't need another anti-malware tool. Windows 10 and Windows 11 include, by default, Windows Security, which is a perfectly fine anti-spyware tool, anti-virus tool. It's a firewall. There's all sorts of good stuff in there. It's enabled by default. In general, you really don't need to do a thing. Now, once upon a time, in previous versions, yes, you used to have multiple different programs. You needed an antivirus program to look for viruses arriving on your machine. You needed an anti-spyware program to look for behavior that indicated your data was being exposed. And you needed a firewall to prevent or undo access to your machine. All of those today are bundled into Windows already. You don't really need to add anything more. Now, there are cases where an additional scan or an additional tool might be useful. And that is if you are concerned or if you have evidence that the Microsoft security didn't catch something. In other words, with Microsoft security turned on, you suspect that there may still be a problem. In that case, yes, get a good third-party program and run additional scans with that program. Now, I have to caution you here because the behavior of Microsoft security has also changed. What's important to understand here is that it is a problem if two different anti-malware tools are running their real-time scans at the same time. They can come into conflict and they can actually flag each other as being malicious, or worse, they can be prevented from actually doing their job. Again, if there's more than one. Microsoft Security knows this, and if it sees you install a different third-party anti-malware solution, it steps aside. It stops doing whatever it was doing, assuming that you want that third-party software to do the job instead. So be careful. In general, I recommend using third-party software these days only to run an additional scan, not as a permanent replacement for Windows Security. What that implies today is that you need to either install your third-party, run your scan, and then make sure to, quote-unquote, turn it off so that Windows Security can be turned back on. A quicker, perhaps more reliable way to do that is to install your third-party software, run that additional scan, and then uninstall the third-party software. Again, Windows Security will step aside when it sees something being installed, but it will step back up when it sees something being uninstalled. When it thinks that you would be left unprotected, it will step in and start protecting you once again. But again, this is something that honestly, I find I rarely, if ever, need, and I really don't recommend it very often these days. Windows Security, Microsoft Security is actually pretty good and is usually all that most Windows 10 and Windows 11 users honestly ever need. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/2833. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.